From LALATE News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Mornings LALATE.
It's a big morning as $1,400 third stimulus checks landed in bank accounts Friday, as predicted by this channel. And more are landing this coming Wednesday, and others are showing pending deposits today. I'll go over how you can know which one is you. I'll also go over which banks paid the money yesterday and which are paying the money this coming week. This is the $1,400 third stimulus check direct deposit. Meantime, I have the latest, greatest, great details about the mail checks. Yes, those mail checks are landing in mailboxes across the country. This is the March 26th mail check and also the April 2nd to 5th. That $1,400 third stimulus check is landing across the country. And all the latest details and how you should be so excited about Saturday morning, because guess what? The IRS tool is going to update itself today and show who's getting checks next week. And we'll have all those details as a family today. Meantime, I'll go over which banks paid yesterday and new video from the White House. First, the press secretary, what she said about fourth stimulus. Second, what the president said about the new jobs number, and I'll detail how that impacts your reoccurring stimulus checks under the fourth stimulus package. The new labor numbers and how that impacts reoccurring stimulus. And the confusing messages from Dr. Walensky about travel. Are we traveling or are we not traveling? It's a new day as we go into an exciting new morning. Stimulus checks are landing, and congratulations to the thousands of those that got it overnight, from the West Coast to the East Coast. From my home to your home, it's a big morning of Early Mornings LA, starting right now. The toast is toasting, the butter is buttering. I'm here, you're here, and it's a big morning as $1,400 third stimulus checks landed, past tense, into bank accounts yesterday. I'll show you which ones they are, and in fact, you don't even have to guess. Why? Because I got a live ticker for you as well. This live ticker will show you at the bottom of the screens the banks that posted deposits yesterday. Yes. On Friday, April 2nd, 2021, these banks posted the deposits. And there is me again. Those are Green Dot, Chime, Bancorp, Cash App, and more. Also H&R Block, Green Emerald Card, MX Bluebird, TurboTax, NetSpend, MetaBank, Brinks, credit unions as well. Also Varo. This ticker will play throughout the video, so watch it if that is your bank. How are you? It's a big morning, and I'm so excited for you on the big news across the board of Early Mornings LA. The toast is toasting, the butter is buttering, and stimulus checks are here as well. The only thing missing is the bacon. How are you? Did I see you at the casino last night? Was that you at the casino? If you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. I don't want you to miss a single video across the board. It's a big day. And I have a lot of breaking news in this video. It's a big video. Stay to the very end. There's a lot of moolah in this video. Third stimulus, fourth stimulus, and more. And it's birthday month. April 25th is our one-year anniversary, so let's try to get to 4,000 subscribers. If you've not subscribed, give a birthday subscribe. Also, like this video. Let's try to 3,000 likes. If you've not become a member, consider becoming a member. Tomorrow is Easter, and I will be recording, so I hope you join me as well. But today, wow, today is a big day. I'll explain to you in a second. But let me first go over what happened yesterday. First, Friday morning started exactly like this channel had exclusively reported it was going to. Treasury sent out the fourth wave of $1,400 third stimulus checks, including those to SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, and veterans. Also, people who pay taxes, have tax returns, or use the non-filer filing tools. Those stimulus checks went out to them as well. But which banks released the funds yesterday? Guess what? They're all in this live ticker. These are the banks that released funds to viewers yesterday, and they were an enormous number of viewers. Congratulations. If you're watching this video right now and you got a stimulus check yesterday, drop in the comments. Or if you know someone who got a stimulus check yesterday, drop in the comments. Say which bank it is. And if you got in the mail check, drop that as well. These are the banks that paid out stimulus checks yesterday. Not on the list that have come in since the time of what happened later in the day was Varo paid viewers, also California Bank and Trust, and one viewer reported Bank America, although I cannot confirm that specifically. Now, that was the funds actually available. Also yesterday, a lot of viewers got alerts that there's now funds available for next Wednesday, April 7th. This includes Direct Express by Comerica and Navy Federal, also B of A. So this is huge news. Let me explain to you what's going on. If you bank at one of these banks, they throughout second stimulus last year and also through all these waves of this stimulus checks this year, they don't hold the funds. They release them the minute they got them. So as soon as they got the funds yesterday, they released them. They didn't hold them. Now, if you bank at one of these banks, this is what you need to know if you don't have your money yet. The funds may post today, Saturday, and may also post Monday. If you don't see them post by Monday and you're at one of these banks, then guess what? It's coming by the mail. It ain't coming by direct deposit because these banks don't hold your funds. That's the first thing. Number two, if you don't bank at one of these banks and bank somewhere else, when are your funds going to be available? Wednesday. Wednesday, if you're getting it by direct deposit. This wave was sent out yesterday, and the funds are made available on Wednesday. Direct Express by Comerica, Wednesday. Bank America, Chase, the big banks, Wednesday. They release the funds on Wednesday. That is if you did get a direct deposit. Now, this is what's important to understand is that 50% of viewers who have their accounts set up for direct deposit will never get it by direct deposit. 50% of you will get it in the mail. If you are set up for Direct Express by Comerica, 50% of you will get it in the mail. If you're set up for Bank America, Chase, 50% of you will get it in the mail. Now, today is also a really exciting day. This is a huge, huge day, and I hope you stay with me throughout the day. Why? Because next Wednesday, April 7th, is when Wave 4 hits for the big banks. Now, the banks at the bottom of the screen you're seeing right now, like Brinks and NetSpend and Medibank, they released the April 7th funds early. They released them yesterday on Friday. But next Wednesday, the big banks like Chase, like Comerica, will release the funds on Wednesday. But what will happen today? Between last night and today, the IRS tool updated itself for 50% of the viewers' channel. Yes. So the IRS tool for 50% of the viewers' channel will now show a result that there is a pending deposit for next Wednesday, if it's a deposit, or a mail result for Thursday or Friday. Remember, every wave has mail checks and deposit checks. So wave 4, the deposit will occur on April 7th if you haven't gotten already, and then the mail checks appear later in the week. I'll have more about that in a second, but the day started with surprisingly huge great news. Let me explain what happened. Before I cut back to the other surprising developments about this $1,400 third stimulus check, and boy, stay with me to the end because I have a lot of details still coming up about the stimulus check. Yesterday came in with shocking developments about 4 stimulus. What were they? The new labor numbers. As you know, stimulus in this country is determined by one factor only: unemployment. How many people are unemployed? 8 million. How many people were unemployed before Friday? 8 million. How many jobs are missing since last year? 8 million. How long does it take to get those 8 million jobs restored? Coming into Friday, we thought 16 months. We thought over a year. The Treasury, Janet Yellen, Jerome Powell, head of Federal Reserve, the president, myself, all said we won't be back to normal for unemployment until next year. Common message, more stimulus throughout all this year. Very easy. Because in February, the number of jobs created was 300,000. 300,000 to 8 million in 16 months. Very, very obvious, even if you have a Larry Kudlow calculator. 300,000 jobs per month, but there's 8 million missing. It's going to take 16 months to get them restored. Well, that was before Friday. On Friday, the new jobs numbers came in from the Department of Labor for the month of March. And boy, did it hit like a brick. 1 million jobs generated and created in the month of March. Exactly 916,000 jobs. This changed the equation quickly. Why? Because 1 million jobs a month and there's 8 million missing means that you could be back to normal in 8 months. What's 8 months from April? May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. Okay, we're still fine. December is still really basically next year. No difference. Still, we're going to get stimulus at the same time. And then the analyst reports started coming in. They looked at these new job numbers and said, well, we had 1 million new jobs in the month of April. We may have 2 million jobs in the month of March. We may have 2 million jobs in the month of April. Here's where the situation changes quickly. If this country does generate 2 million jobs in the month of April, this month, then 2 million into 8 is 4, meaning this country could be back to full restoration of those missing 8 million jobs in 4 months. And what's 4 months from now? April, May, June, July. Suddenly, July or August, suddenly, the economy could be back to normal employment in the summer a half a year early. This caused questions for viewers about forced stimulus. Will there be reoccurring stimulus checks if we're back to employment that quickly? Let me explain what's going on. Here is where the issue is at hand. The forced stimulus package needs to get to the Senate as soon as possible because the senators who are Democrats want to modify the bill and put in reoccurring stimulus checks in there. Even if the president doesn't want to put it in there, they want to put those reoccurring stimulus checks in there. They will do it. Every Democrat will do it with this economy, even if it's growing, if they get the bill in the next few weeks or months. But if they get it in September, October, by then the economy could be rebounded. So it's important they get that stimulus bill back in the Senate as soon as possible in the next few weeks or next few months. The president and the labor secretary separately had live streams yesterday, which you may have watched on Mornings, LALATE. And in those live streams, both of them talked about the new numbers. Let's listen to what the president had to say.
I hope you all have a good weekend. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. Well, good morning. This morning we've learned that our economy created 900,000 jobs in March. It means the first 2 months of our administration has seen more new jobs created than the first 2 months in any administration in history. But we still have a long way to go to get our economy back on track after the worst economic and job crisis in nearly a century. But my message to the American people is this: help is here, opportunity is coming, and at long last there's hope for so many families. Credit for this progress belongs not to me but to the American people. Hard-working women and men who have struggled through this pandemic, never given up, and are determined to get the country back on track, as well as their families. But I think it's also a reflection of 2 things we're doing here. First, the new economic strategy we've launched, one focused on building from the bottom up and the middle out, and one that puts government on the side of working people, and that rewards work, not wealth. When we invest in the American people, it's not just those at the top that make our economy grow. They're the ones that make it grow, ordinary Americans. We saw the economy gain traction in March as the American Rescue Plan moved and got passed, bringing new hope to our country. And we're going to continue to implement that law in the weeks ahead.
Let me go over the numbers that were released on Friday. Leisure and hospitality added 280,000, the largest segment of new job creation in the month of March. Construction added 110,000. But the numbers were so strong that there was questions of whether this movement would continue. Charlie Ripley, Vice President of Portfolio Management at Alliance Investment Management, gave the following statement to LALATE late yesterday that said the payrolls data suggests that the labor market has begun to turn around, but we still have a long way to go before substantial progress is made and the labor market's fully recovered. Meantime, Quincy Crosby, Chief Market Strategy at Prudential, issued a statement obtained by LALATE yesterday. They said, it shows that the economy is healing, that those who lost their jobs are coming back. The concern is if we have another wave of COVID that leads to another round of closures. Meantime, there's two other things that happened yesterday which were really quite critical, which were supply and demand issues, business level, GDP, and spending. I'll be covering them later in this recording. But here's what you need to know about that $1,400 third stimulus check from yesterday. The banks in the bottom of the screen are the ones that released the funds yesterday as soon as they got it. Understand, all the banks got the funds yesterday. These are just the banks that have released the funds. So if your bank is not listed on that list, what should you think? First, if it's a very, very small bank, a regional bank, in just one state or two states, I don't know the situation for each bank, so it's too hard to predict. Number two, if it's a big bank, like a Chase, a Bank America, or Wells, or Citicorp, they don't release the funds early. So they're going to release the funds next Wednesday. If it's Direct Express by Comerica, same thing. So what about alerts? Every bank has a different alert. Some banks do show pending deposits, some don't. Yesterday, I had a lot of viewers who are Direct Express by Comerica get the alert, it's pending for next Wednesday. But even if you're not even if you did not get an alert yet from Direct Express from Comerica, it may still land. And then comes the question about next week and next Wednesday. Will funds be released earlier than next Wednesday? Only for these banks. These are the only banks that generally release funds early, Friday, Saturday, and Monday. Everyone else has to wait till Wednesday. Is it Tuesday? No, it's exactly Wednesday. This is what you need to know. Also, it may just release funds with the IRS tool never showing anything. But I'll have more about that IRS tool and why today is the big day in which the IRS tool may finally have information about you. Yes, that's coming up later in this recording. Now, also two other things which I have to touch on are that mail check of March 26th. I have breaking news. That's all great news. And I have new news about the April 2nd check. And the third, yes, I'm sure you're wondering where that is. I have all that coming up in a second for you with more videos from the White House. But first, here's a little bit about the community page. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on Mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now on Early Mornings LALATE. How are you? Ready to crush the weekend or let the weekend crush you? I will be back with you tomorrow on Easter as well, but I'll also be back with you on Mornings LALATE, which is at 9 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. Yesterday I went a little bit live. I went live earlier because it was one after another live feed from the White House. Let's see if the White House stays on that schedule because I may come earlier for you going forward. They had one feed from the White House, another one from the press secretary, and one from Dr. Walensky and Fauci. But boy, if you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Also, like this video. Come on, give us a subscribe. It's birthday week. And I might be in the live chat, so say hi if you see me. I may be there. Also, if you've not become a member, consider becoming a member because, wow, the fourth stimulus is just around the corner. You don't want to miss anything happening. And guess what? Next week, I'm focusing you back on the other items of the third stimulus package. There's a lot of other money. Now that you're getting that stimulus check, it's ready to get that other money. Let me go over what's going on today with that tool. The tool will update itself. Yes, this is huge. So the tool will update itself for 50% of the viewers of this channel. The tool updates itself every Saturday based upon the information it got from Friday. So the tool knows now that checks or money went out on Friday. And the tool will update itself 50% of the time. Why? Because 50% of the time, the tool doesn't work. 50% of the time, the tool is just no good. So you may never appear in the tool ever, 50% of the viewers. But the other 50% of the viewers, you will start to appear in the tool today. Why? Because a check was never sent out for you until yesterday. That's why there was no results for your name, because a check was never sent out until yesterday. And of those people that are appearing in the tool today, half of you, it will say mail check, and half of you, it'll say direct deposit. This is what's important for you to know. If you're set up for direct deposit, if you got the first one by direct deposit, if you use Direct Express card by Comerica or Wells or Chase or any of those big banks, 50% of you will get it by direct deposit on Wednesday. It'll show direct deposit April 7th, and the rest of you, the other 50% of you, will never get it by direct deposit. It'll come in the mail with a mail April 9-10 date as well. Meantime, I have new news as well about that March 26th check and that April 2nd, 3rd, and 4th check. That'll be coming up in a second. But let's listen in to what the Labor Secretary yesterday said about these numbers across the board and how it impacts fourth stimulus going forward. And then I have some more details about what the U.S. economy said yesterday after his remarks.
Special guest, member of our Jobs Cabinet. Today, I'm thrilled to have Secretary of Labor, Marty Walsh, with us.
During this pandemic. We must continue to address the fact that working people and communities already suffering the most from inequality were hit the hardest during the COVID illness and job loss. That's why American Jobs Plan proposed by the President Biden this week is so vital to our future. It tackles each of these issues head on with bold action. The plan offers a necessary path forward towards sustainable economic growth that is robust, competitive, and inclusive. As a former mayor, as Jen mentioned, as a former mayor, I know all about infrastructure needs. This plan would move us into the 21st century and to the forefront of the world in transportation, in clean energy, in high-speed internet, and would create millions of good jobs all across the United States.
Let me explain the other data that came out yesterday, which was really quite fascinating. First, there was a new report yesterday from the Supply Management Monthly Report obtained by LALATE that said there's a concern about supply of goods. If you're looking for paper towels or soap or car parts or something for your lawnmower, we could be back to where we saw in 2020. There's a new pent-up demand for buying stuff that's causing a supply shortage. Widespread supply chain issues, says the report. Suppliers are struggling to manage demand and capacity in the face of chronic logistics and labor issues. No end is in sight in the new report. Meantime, great news from Jefferies, as it indicated that we are now at 93.5% of pre-pandemic level based upon business activity. Elsewhere, GDP. This is very fascinating. The GDP number for Q1 2021 early in the week came in at about 5%. And they expected it for Q2 later this year at about 9%. Well, after those reports earlier on Friday about the massive labor growth, there's now belief that maybe GDP could be upwards of 10, 12%. And finally, spending. There's a lot of questions about how robust this economy may be in the next few weeks as people finally get these stimulus checks that they haven't gotten. both the $600 second and the now third stimulus check of $1,400. And with that, let me cut back and explain to you the great news about those mail checks. For the first time ever, we're finally seeing that those $1,400 third stimulus checks, which had an effective date of March 26, showing up in massive quantities. Yesterday was a massive drop and appearance of March 26 mail checks. They're just very late. They're very, very, very late to the party. Those March 26 checks showed up in big quantities later this last week, yesterday, and more apparently showing up today based upon viewers tracking it with the USPS tool. So the good news is if you have a March 26 check date mail, it's in the mail and it's coming. It's just late, about 7 to 9 days late. That's wave 2. Wave 3's checks, also breaking news, you're hearing only on this channel. Great news is that's coming on time. So far, we're seeing it coming on time. That's the April 2nd, 3rd, and 4th check. If you got a mail check today, drop in the comments, or got one yesterday, drop in the comments which check you got, what date it was. Especially, I want to hear more about these April checks because we're starting to hear more details about it. So understand, suddenly there's not 1, 2, but 3 events occurring at the same time. March 26 checks are showing up in the mail. April 2nd checks are showing up in the mail. And then direct deposits for next week's wave are showing up in deposit accounts overnight in these banks, which are in the live in the ticker. And then viewers are getting alerts of pending deposits for next week. And finally, IRS's tool will be updating today as well, showing who is getting a deposit next week for direct deposit and who is getting it by mail check. Again, 50% of the time the tool works and the rest it doesn't work. This is all great news. Suddenly you see a lot of activity at the same time. Round of checks for March 26th late, finally coming. A round of checks for April 2nd on time coming. The deposit accounts being released early for these banks, and then the rest of the banks releasing them on time next Wednesday. Meantime, what's going on with travel? Dr. Walensky earlier in the week said, don't travel. We're worried about the growth of the virus and the strains. And then on Friday, she had a new video. She had said, okay, you can't travel if you're vaccinated. But then she said, don't travel. I think her warnings are traveling as well. First, don't travel, then do travel, then don't travel, then do travel. Let's hear what she said about traveling. Let's see if the message travels well. Let's see
Clear that listing a variant as one of interest rather than a variant of concern does not mean we are not prioritizing the variant or that the variant is not important for us to carefully follow. Rather, it means that we are still working to understand the variant, gather data on it, and determine its impact on medical therapies, disease severity, and transmissibility. As we are better able to characterize the variant, its classification may change based on those findings. In the case of B1526, the one most recently found frequently in New York, we continue to assess its prevalence regionally and nationally, its transmissibility, and to conduct studies to understand how its mutations, for example, its E484K substitution, impact therapeutic and antibody responses.
Translation, we don't know. I mean, that is basically the translation of what she's saying. When it comes to B117 or other variants, she admits we don't have enough data yet to know whether the vaccine is fully effective against it or whether the variant can mutate in the next couple of weeks that we need a booster shot. Translation is don't travel, but do travel. Well, not quite sure. Then also making news yesterday was the press secretary, who early in the week said that she didn't know if there was going to be any raising of taxes on the fourth stimulus package, even though there was. And now comes out to every press conference with a chart that says, well, 50 years ago, the tax rate was 50% in the United States, so you should be happy at 28%. I don't know. This is this year, not 50 years ago. Thank you so much, Ms. Press Secretary. But let's listen to what she had to say about the taxes again and other issues about stimulus.
Is the President aware of the reporting and the investigation into Congressman Matt Gaetz, and does he believe that...
Obviously, the President is certainly...
some states say that would have to be included in order for them to expand.
It's a great question. Obviously, the president is certainly supportive of and an advocate for states expanding Medicaid, access to Medicaid. He thinks it's a way to ensure more people are covered in states and have access to affordable health care. But in terms of flexibility, I'll have to talk to Jean, who I want to get in here and talk to you guys soon too about any specifics there about those discussions with states.
But are you doing anything in terms of reaching out to them, any outreach campaigns in general, aside from whether you're talking specifics about waivers yet, but
Yeah.
just doing anything? You're doing a lot of outreach on the other components of the ACA and the rescue plan in terms of educational campaigns. Is there anything going on specifically on the Medicaid expansion?
We're in touch with leaders and governors about all components of the implementation, and that's something. And I just referenced Gene because he's overseeing that effort. Go ahead.
Thanks, Jen. On Russia again and the internet.
And what's important to know is that throughout the week, there was a lot of other major breaking developments that impact your stimulus, which was sort of lost in the discussion. Let me recap those as well. The eviction moratorium was extended by CDC. It was set to expire. It has been extended. It will likely not be extended again. Its current expiration date is September. No, I think it's June. It will likely not get extended again because the analytics is that the rent and utilities from the third stimulus will land in the states by the time the middle of this month rolls around, and so they won't be likely extending the eviction moratorium one last time. There was a series of other executive orders that were signed by the president, one of which was the extension of PPP, which also expired. As you know, EIDL is about to go live with the grant itself. The shuttered venue, which is not just for venues, is now in preview, so go watch that. The EIDL loan also increased took off the cap, so you can increase your EIDL loan for the first time in a year of this channel. And then, also making huge great news was that at the end of this week on Thursday, the president announced that he has dispatched his labor secretary to prepare a memo to determine the legal validity for forgiving $50,000 of student loan debt. Yeah, so finally Chuck and Elizabeth, Leader Schumer and Senator Warren, got their way to get the president to think about, at least for now, student loan debt forgiveness. And guess what? I'll be thinking about you and hoping to see you in a little bit from now at 9 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 12 noon, as Mornings LA heats up. This is what you need to know going into that recording. More of you will show that IRS tool updating itself throughout the day. Remember, you can only look at the tool so many times per day. Watch that bank account throughout the day. If you got a deposit, or you know someone who got a deposit, or if you saw anything change in your tool, drop in the comments, send me a private message. Ultimately, as much as you help me with information, it helps other viewers. The spirit of this family is helping one another. And next week, as more of you get these stimulus checks, away we go into third stimulus. The rent, the utilities, the food, the EIDL, we're going to work as a family to get all this money while being informed about what's going on with the markets, the stocks, the bonds, and the economy, so that you are financially stable as we move from third stimulus to fourth stimulus. Stay informed, stay focused, keep on smiling, and thank you for joining me on a big Early Mornings LA. If you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Also like this video. And if you see me in the live chat, I might be there. Say hi. And with that, stay with LA for more.